Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name's Richard, welcome to Bankrupt Pensioner. Let's pour a coffee. It's been a year now since I've owned this, since I purchased this Triumph, brand new, 0 miles. And it's been a great year. This Triumph and I have been through lots this year. Been through lots of things. We've been down to France. Had a great time in France. You'll see on a previous video some of the trip data, some of the trip videos from that. But she's been such a lovely machine. I'm being distracted by a car that's potentially coming up here. She's been a lovely machine. I serviced this at 4,000 miles myself because I was going into France, and servicing the oil, checking everything out was very easy. If you can use a screwdriver, you can service your bike. I know that we've got problems with people not being able to use screwdrivers nowadays, but she's been a lovely machine. So a quick roundup of what happened with this bike. I went to Triumph, Staffordshire, and this was a pre-registered bike with 0 miles on it. It was about 3 weeks old from a registration perspective, and I then purchased it for the price of £10,600, which also included the Jivvy mount plate, which was something like £170. So the net effect was the bike was something like £10,430, brand new. Well, it was 3 weeks old, and it's been absolutely wonderful. If you're thinking about getting a Triumph 900, you can get them now second-hand, 2020 plate, with probably very little mileage, because there are so many garage queens out there, for probably somewhere around £9,000, maybe even less. And you should consider that. You really should consider that. It's been a wonderful machine. It is super comfy. The cruise control is absolutely wonderful. It's the first time I've had cruise, and it makes such a difference when you're going on the long journeys. It's super smooth. It's very economical. However, it's not as economical as the 800 previous version. Every time when I went down with Mark and Charlie to France, every time we filled up, I was putting into the tank 2.5 more litres of fuel than Mark was on his 800 Tiger. So the 800 Tiger is more economical, even though this one's meant to be more ULEZ compliant and all that kind of rubbish. Everything's been absolutely fine on the bike. I haven't had to change the front pads or the rear pads yet, even though it's got 8,000 miles on it. The tyres are doing really well. I'm surprised. These Metzlers are absolutely fine, and although the rear tyre is a little flat, it does have a little bit of a flat spot from doing all the motorway work, it's absolutely fine. I think I've probably got another 2,000 miles on that. What else can I tell you about it? If you're thinking about buying a touring bike, this is a really, really good example. It's been ultra reliable. It's been absolutely wonderful. It's so economical, relatively. It's got the cruise control. I've done a couple of editions on it. I got the cheaper quad lock, and that was something like £15 on eBay, rather than the typical quad lock that is something like £60 plus. Careful what you create in plastic. The Chinese will make it cheaper. There we are, that's my mindset. The Chinese are making it cheaper. They don't care about patents and things like that. Which is either good or bad. But Quadlock need to reduce their price to remain competitive. That's another That's another subject. I went and bought the centre stand off Marketplace, and that cost something like £100. Some guy had a spare one. I bought the Scott oiler, and the Scott oiler is really important because with the Scott oiler, it really does lubricate your chain well, and as such, from the sub 8,000 miles that I've done, I haven't had to adjust the chain, and the chain does not need to be adjusted. That said, I'm not popping wheelies all the time. In fact, I very rarely pop wheelies, and this does wheelie well. But that's another subject. The Scott oiler stops the chain from needing adjustment. It's constantly lubricating the chain, and it's in 8,000 miles I have not had to adjust the chain, which is amazing. The Scott oiler, again, second hand off Marketplace. This is the electronic Scott oiler that's rigged up to your battery, not the vacuum system. That was £100. What else have I put on it? Oh, that's about it. I ended up getting the panniers from Triumph Staffordshire because they got an abundance of stock, and including the rack and the two metal pannier, which are great. That cost me £550, which was a giveaway. So for two pannier and the rack, £550. I can't think of anything more that I've done to this. You should, if you're looking at a good quality bike that's going to be ultra reliable and cheap to run, then you should look at this. And the reason why I'm having coffee out of a flask is just to prove a financial point. Every time you have a coffee at Starbucks or Costa Coffee, my coffee costs something like £4.70. I do have a caramel shot in it, and that's for a small one or a regular or whatever you call it. So if you have a coffee at, let's say, £4 a day, over 10 days that's £40. Over 30 days that is £120. So if you just stopped having one coffee a day from Starbucks or Costa Coffee and took a flask or a bottle of water, that could pay the finance on this bike. Just stop having one coffee. Should we go for a ride? Let's go for a quick ride. Let's go for a quick ride. Here we go. So let's go for a quick ride and have a think about this Triumph Tiger. You can see I'm wearing these Iron JS heated gloves. I know it says 7 degrees, but it feels so much colder than that. It feels so much colder. So, what's the Triumph Tiger like? 94 horsepower. Never use 94 horses, but it's got more than enough power. I think where the 94 horses come for me is when it's cruising on the motorways over in France and things like that, where the speed limit is more than 70 miles an hour. And so front to bike, 19-inch front wheel, I think, and that feels great. It doesn't fall into the corners. It's really, really stable. The standard windscreen that's shown in front of us, which can move up and down whilst you're riding. There we are. Let's put it down so you get a better view. There we are. You can adjust it while you're riding, and that screen is very good. The fairing to the left and to the right protects your upper and lower legs from the rain, so that's a good thing, especially if you're going down the motorways or whatever at 50 mile an hour plus. The controls on the handlebars are easily used, Sometimes I feel that the start button is a fair reach with my little thumbs, but you get used to that. So all the controls are very good. This is the very first bike I've ever had with cruise control, and it is absolutely wonderful. If you've never had cruise control, you don't know what you're missing, especially if you're a long distance rider. So like I've said, this has got just under 8,000 miles on it, and we've now had it a year. It's been all the way down to France and down to the Alps, and it's been absolutely wonderful, absolutely flawless. The first service, I don't know what the service intervals are on these. I think they're every 6,000, but I did a service at 4,000 on the understanding that I was going down to France and would be returning with 7,000 on the clock or something like that. And I did the first service and noted that in the service book, and it's absolutely wonderful. I'm going to have to do the valve clearance at 12,000, which will be some point in next year, 2024. So that will be done by me. I don't need to take it into the Triumph Centre for them to do it for £500. Don't need that. So that should be straightforward. So the tank holds about 200 miles range if you're nice and steady with it, and most people that buy this kind of bike will be generally speaking be steady riders. The suspension is great and adjustable, yeah, so that's good. And the rear suspension does need adjusting when you have a pillion or lots of luggage on. It does handle much better when you adjust it as per the specifications within the manual, so take time to read that detail out. Yeah, let's go into here. The tyres have been absolutely great. These Metzlers that come with the Tiger have still got lots of tread on them. They've still got lots of tread, and as I say, they've just done under 8,000 miles. The bike has been off-road with limited use, and it handles okay for a large 900. So, but you've got to remember it's a big bike. But generally speaking, 99% of the time this is on the roads or in the Alps and enjoying the ride. I don't use it for commuting because I work from home. And when I do go into the office, which is generally speaking once a month, I tend to go in the car. I don't really want to waste 300 miles journey on the bike for just going into work. It's not necessary. It's simply not necessary. There's no one behind me. Let's go over here. Let's go over here. The seat is super comfy. Super comfy. So you'll never have any problems. I find that the difference on the 800 is the seat is a bit lower. But that's super comfy as well on the 800. But this is the 900 that we're talking about. Where can we park up and have a look at this bike? Here we are. We can park up here. I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to film. But yeah, it's an absolutely wonderful bike. Let's get off. Oh, that's ungainly. The luggage rack system from Triumph, absolutely wonderful. Let's turn these gloves off. Absolutely wonderful. The luggage, the metal luggage. Although I do have a normal jivvy on the bike. Like I say, this is the rear tyre. I know it's gone a bit square. But there's still plenty of tread on it. It's probably another 2,000 or 3,000 miles on that. I know it's square. So 7,962 miles. That's just under 8,000 miles. It's a lovely bike. Lovely bike. If you're thinking about getting one and you want to ask any questions, just reach out to me and I'll try to help you out. I shall try to help you out. And she's used. That's why she's scruffy. Yeah? Have a great time. Ride safely. Please do comment below. Do remember to subscribe. And I shall see you in a future video. See you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.